Welcome back to Mighty Military, where we break down the latest developments, hidden details, and deeper truths behind the world's most advanced defense technology. Today, we're diving into one of Russia's most talked about yet mysterious fighter jet programs, the Sukhoi Su-75 Checkmate. Russian officials claim that a prototype could finally enter flight testing early next year. But how close is this jet to becoming a reality? And how much of this is real progress versus ambitious marketing? Let's take a closer look. The Su-75 has been surrounded by hype ever since the United Aircraft Corporation rolled out a full-scale mock-up at the 2021 Dubai Airshow. Back then, it was presented as a sleek, affordable fifth-generation single-engine fighter aimed squarely at the export market. Russia promised a modern jet packed with stealth features, cutting-edge sensors, and a price tag far lower than Western alternatives like the F-35. But 4 years later, we still haven't seen a working prototype, let alone a flight test. So when Russian officials now say the aircraft is almost ready, the world naturally has questions. During this year's Dubai Airshow, Sergei Chemezov, head of Russia's defense giant Rostec, stated that development continues and the team is close to beginning test flights. He suggested that production could follow soon after. At the same event, Sukhoi chief test pilot Sergei Bogdan said the first flight may happen in early 2026. According to him, the aircraft is already on the shop floor and being finalized. Yet despite these confident statements, no physical evidence of a flyable prototype has surfaced. No leaked images, no satellite shots, and no footage of early test runs. This is strange, especially compared to other Russian projects like the S-70 Okhotnik drone, where images appeared regularly during development. Still, Russia continues to push the Checkmate narrative. According to UAC's latest specifications, the Su-75 has a maximum takeoff weight of around 26,000 kilograms and can carry more than 7,000 kilograms of weapons. That includes both under-wing stores and internal bays for reduced radar visibility. The company claims the jet can reach speeds between Mach 1.8 and Mach 2, powered by a single engine producing up to 36,000 pounds of thrust. Size-wise, it sits between a lightweight and medium-weight fighter. It's larger than an F-35A, but smaller than Russia's heavyweight Su-57 Felon. Interestingly, the Su-75's design has changed noticeably since its 2021 debut. Updated models show redesigned wings, extended wing roots, new shaping around the tail and nose, and a canopy with sawtooth edges to reduce radar reflections. One of the jet's most recognizable elements, the large DSI-style air intake under the nose, has also been modified. A central divider that appeared on the original mock-up is now gone, and the lower portion of the intake looks flatter. These changes suggest the design is still evolving, which may indicate real engineering work continues, or that Russia is still finalizing the jet on paper rather than in the factory. The Su-75 is marketed as having partial stealth, focusing primarily on frontal radar reduction. Russia says the aircraft will be highly effective even in areas covered by strong air defenses, thanks to its AESA radar, infrared search and track system, and advanced electronic warfare capabilities. But until a prototype flies, these remain claims rather than proven capabilities. Russia has also spoken boldly about creating an entire family of Su-75 variants. These include a two-seat model and an uncrewed combat drone developed from the same airframe. A refined drone version appeared at the Dubai Airshow, featuring an electro-optical targeting system similar to the F-35's EOTS and additional sensors that could form a distributed aperture system. Such technology would allow 360-degree awareness, essential for modern unmanned fighters. But just like the manned version, these ideas remain highly aspirational. Even Russian officials admit that making a new fighter jet is a slow, complex process. Chemezov reminded everyone that building a modern combat aircraft takes 10 to 15 years. If that timeline holds true, and if the Su-75 really reaches its first flight around 2026, it may not achieve true production readiness until well into the next decade. And this raises a critical question. Does Russia even have the resources to push this jet forward right now? With the ongoing war in Ukraine, heavy sanctions, and the slow delivery of Su-57 fighters to the Russian Air Force, the nation's aerospace industry is under extreme strain. Only around 18 Su-57s have been delivered in the last 2 years, far short of what was promised. Starting a new fighter program under these conditions seems extremely difficult. Russia has hinted at joint development with Belarus to share costs, but it's unclear how much that partnership can truly contribute. Meanwhile, the Su-75 continues to be heavily marketed to foreign buyers. Russia pitches it as a low-cost fifth-gen option for countries in the Middle East, India, Iran, the UAE, Algeria, and Vietnam. Nations like India, Iran, the UAE, Algeria, and Vietnam. Yet despite years of claims, not a single confirmed order exists, and any country buying a Russian fighter risks triggering U.S. sanctions under CAATSA, a major obstacle for nations that rely on Western defense ties or trade.
On paper, Russia wants the Su-75 to be a game changer, a fifth-generation, stealth-oriented fighter that's far cheaper than the F-35 and more advanced than fourth-generation jets like the Gripen, F-16, JF-17, or Mirage 2000. But the market Russia is trying to target has become more competitive than ever. Countries that might have considered Russian fighters in the past now face enormous pressure from Western sanctions. Under U.S. CAATSA laws, buying Russian military equipment can trigger economic penalties, restrict access to Western financial systems, or even block technology transfers. This has already influenced India's buying decisions, forced Southeast Asian countries to step back from Russian aircraft deals, and discouraged Gulf states from pursuing co-development. So even if the Su-75 eventually flies, its export prospects are already complicated before the jet even leaves the runway. Competition is another major challenge. China has rapidly become a serious exporter, pushing high-end systems like the J-10C and showing off advanced stealth designs such as the J-35, which may soon be offered in export form. China's defense industry has stronger manufacturing capacity, fewer sanctions, and shorter development cycles. For many nations that traditionally look to Russia, China is now providing modern equipment faster, cheaper, and with fewer political risks. This puts the Su-75 in an unusual position. Russia wants to sell it to countries that cannot access Western fighters and may not want Chinese jets. But this customer base is small and shrinking. Another issue is Russia's own defense priorities. With the war in Ukraine still draining resources, Russia is focused on replacing battlefield losses, producing drones, armor, and artillery, and trying to increase output of existing aircraft, such as the Su-34 and Su-35. Even the Su-57, Russia's flagship fifth-generation fighter, is arriving slowly. If Russia is already struggling to produce the Su-57 in significant numbers, how likely is it that they can develop, test, and mass-produce an entirely new stealth jet at the same time? These challenges don't necessarily mean the Su-75 program will die. Russia has shown resilience and creativity in keeping long-term projects alive even under difficult conditions. The fact that officials continue to speak confidently about the Checkmate suggests the project still has political value, both as a symbol of future capability and as a marketing tool to attract foreign interest or investment. When Belarus announced earlier this year that it may join the project, it signaled that Russia is open to a multinational development model to offset costs. But interest is not the same as commitment. For now, no nation has officially signed a contract to buy or co-develop the Su-75. Without confirmed orders or outside funding, the program depends heavily on Russia's own industrial capacity, which is more limited today than at any point in the last 20 years. What makes this entire situation more complex is how little tangible evidence the world has seen. We have mock-ups, scale models, and digital renderings. We have evolving design features like enlarged wings, redesigned intakes, and more advanced sensor layouts. But what we do not have is photographic proof of a real prototype being assembled. In modern aviation programs, especially in Russia, leaks are difficult to hide. The S-70 Okotnik drone had multiple photos released while still in early construction. The S-57 was photographed during taxi tests well before its first public appearance. The lack of such imagery for the Su-75 is hard to ignore.
This doesn't prove the aircraft isn't being built, but it raises doubts about how far along the program truly is. So where does this leave the Su-75? The most realistic scenario is that Russia continues refining the design, searching for international partners, and slowly advancing toward a prototype. If a first flight really happens around 2026, the world will finally see whether the Checkmate is a capable next-generation fighter or mainly an ambitious concept used for political and commercial signaling. And even if the jet does fly, it still has a long journey ahead. From first flight to full production, every major fighter program in the world has taken at least a decade. That means true mass production of the Su-75 may not begin until sometime in the 2030s, assuming everything goes smoothly, which is rarely the case in advanced aircraft development. For now, the Su-75 remains a fascinating mix of promise, uncertainty, engineering ambition, and geopolitical pressure. It's a story still unfolding, and one that mighty military will continue to follow closely as new developments emerge. Whether it becomes a genuine competitor in the fifth-generation fighter world or remains a showpiece of Russian marketing, the Checkmate continues to capture global attention. If you want more deep analysis like this, make sure you stay tuned, because the world of military aviation is evolving fast, and we're here to cover every breakthrough, every controversy, and every aircraft that might shape the future of air combat.